In this lecture, we are going to look at the need and benefit of using a pivot table. So, the question is, why should we exactly use a pivot table? Well, there are two reasons for it. The first one being for quick answers and analysis of complex questions. Whenever you have a complex questions or you have a data set to analyze, you use a pivot table. Pivot tables are helpful when formulas fail to help you. What do I mean by this statement? Let's take an example here. So I'll go back to Excel. Here we have the data of a few flower names and the color of these flowers. I want to find out the different colors that I have in this data set and how many flowers belong to a particular color. For example, how many flowers are of the purple color or of the green color, and so on. If I had to do this only with the help of formulas, how could I do it? The first thing that I would want here is to get the unique items of my color. I want to see how many distinct colors do I have here. One way to do it would be to go to the Home tab, go to Sort and Filter, and enable filter. Once you had the filter option, you could click on it and have a look at the field box at the bottom. You see, we have 5 different colors: blue, green, purple, red, and yellow. So let's write it down separately. I'll put in blue, green, purple, red, and yellow. Once we have this list of distinct colors, we need to find out how many flowers belong to each color. For that, I would have to use a count if formula to count the cells in the B column if it matches blue for the first cell, second cell if it matches green, and so on. So I will start off by writing is equal to count if. The range here would be this entire column, comma, and the criteria here would be the color blue. So I want to count how many times blue was repeated in this column. Hit enter and you get the answer as 10. Drag it down and you get the answer 8, 7, 5 and 12 for the rest of the colors. This is how you would do it using formulas. It certainly took us a lot of time to get to the answer and it had multiple steps with formulas being entered manually at each step. Instead of using formulas, we could use pivot tables here. For example, I could simply go to my data, try to insert a pivot table by going to Insert, Pivot Table and hit OK. Once I have a pivot table here, I could simply go to my pivot table fields, bring in color into rows and color into values. And that's it. We have the answer right in front of us. We have blue as 10, 8, 7, 5 and 12. This is how easy it is to get the answer using a pivot table. So whenever you want to analyze your data or answer questions, pivot tables sometimes take the lead as compared to formulas when it comes to the ease of use and the time required to get to the answer. Coming to the second part, which is when you have no questions to answer, but just have some data to analyze and come up with key insights. Here, notice how we had a question in mind. We wanted to find out how many colors are there and how many flowers are there of each color. But what if we have a huge data set and we do not have a specific question to answer? We simply want to analyze the data and come up with key insights based out of that data. In that case, formulas would require a lot of combination and permutation while getting to different insights. If I want to answer 15 different questions or I have 20 different things in my mind, I would have to write 20 different formulas for each one of them, which would take me a lot of time. But when it comes to a pivot tables are drag and drop tables which you can change in a second. Which brings up to the second slide, which is pivot tables allow us to easily organize, filter, summarize, and analyze raw data. They are drag and drop tables which allows you to have flexible views and get to different questions really easily to get the answers of. Here's my favorite quote: analyzing data without a pivot is like hammering a nail with a noodle. It doesn't simply make any sense. So now that we have understood the need of pivot table as compared to formulas, let's look at the 5 key benefits of using a pivot table. The first benefit being it's really powerful. It helps you uncover insights and answer key questions about your data. Like we just saw, it really took us, I would say, less than 10 seconds to get to the answer, and the answer was really easy to have as well. It's really powerful to uncover really good insights from your data. Second, it's beautiful to look at. You can apply custom styles and even conditional formatting rules to bring your pivots to life. Third, it's really fast. You can create custom views, filters, and calculated fields on the fly. As we saw, the answer that we got was within 10 seconds. It's as fast as it could get. If we have complex analysis to make, we can use a pivot table to get the answer really quickly as compared to a normal formula. Fourth, it's completely accurate. Because guess what? Who is doing the calculation behind the pivot table? It's actually Excel, the software doing the calculation for you. And you only have to drag and drop a few fields to create the pivot table. So it minimizes the human error up till the point of you dragging and dropping the wrong items. The calculations is something that pivot table, or I would say Excel, does on its own. So there's no pen and paper involved, there's no calculator involved from your side. Everything is done by Excel, which automatically minimizes human error. And fifth, it's really flexible. You can manipulate table layouts and create dynamic view in seconds. For example, if you have one question to answer and want to have a look at another question really quickly, you can easily convert the existing pivot table to suit the requirement of the second question. It's as easy as that, and it's really flexible as well at the same time. So that's the benefit of using a pivot table. In this lecture, we understood the need and the benefit of using a pivot table. That's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next lecture.